Okay guys, so this is where we left up last time, and what we're going to be doing in this video is actually factoring out everything that has to do with our like functionality into a single component. Okay, so this is going to be a child component of our feed.vue, so it means we'll actually be able to separate concerns and make our code cleaner. So let's go ahead and see how we implement this. So first thing is I'm going to create a new view component. So in my resources assets.js components directory, I'll create a new view component called Like.vue. And this component, as we agreed, is going to be a child component of our feed.vue. Okay, so right here where we had our test data to see how this is going to work, we'll go ahead and pull all of this out right here, and this is where I'm going to display my like component. Okay, so means we have to import that component right here and declare it as a child component of this component. So I'll say import like from this directory, which is the current components directory, and would say like.vue. Okay, so right here we have to declare the components property, so we'll say components, and this is going to be an object, and we'll say like. Okay, next thing is actually to set up our template. So our like, how would I want it to look? So first of all, let me just go ahead and set up the template for this, and here I'll just have a div, and right here I'll have a text center, and in this text center I'm gonna display all the avatars of everybody who has liked this post. Okay, so I'll just put a comment right here and I'll say avatars of post likers. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is actually draw a horizontal line, and I should probably also add another horizontal line right here. And the next thing I'm going to do after this horizontal line is actually display a button, and this button would be either like post or unlike post, depending on if the current user likes this post or not. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and say button dot button dot button primary, and this will just say like this post, and I'll have a second button, obviously, dot button dot button, and I'll give it a red color, and I'll say on like this post. Okay, so this is how the template is gonna look, and once we have some data on our template, we'll be able to use it to determine which elements are rendered and which ones are not. Okay, so let's go ahead and export this component. So we'll say export by default the component itself, and we'll just go ahead and put in a mounted property right there. Now, what data do we need for this component? First of all, we need to know which post. Okay, because right here in our feed.vue, if you look right here, we discover that we are mounting this like component in our v for loop. Okay, so meaning for each post that is rendered, this like component is going to be rendered. Okay, and what would make sense is that this component will be able to show us the number of people that have liked this post and if the authenticated user has liked this post or not. So right here we're gonna pass a prop, and this prop is gonna be the current post ID. Okay, so remember this is in a for loop, and we are passing in the ID of the current post into the like component. Okay, so if this doesn't make sense yet, it's gonna make sense in a moment. Okay, so now that we're passing in the ID of the post in our like.vue component, we need to receive that ID. So what we're gonna do is simply declare a prop right here. After our mounted, we'll say prop, and this is gonna be an array, and the first is gonna be the ID. Okay, so now what next? So looks like we have two things to take care of. First, we need to display the avatar of all the users who like this post, and the next thing we have to do is determine if the authenticated user likes this post or not. Okay, so if the authenticated user likes this post, we'll just go ahead and show the unlike this post button, and if he doesn't, we'll show the like this post button. Okay, so for now both buttons will be rendered, but now what we need to do is actually get the post into this component so that we can use it. Okay, so we're going to be doing that in the next lesson.